Alpha.
The stories are endless. They could be real or completely out of this world.
Art.
Ça va depuis mon enfance à regarder des films avec mes sœurs quand j'étais petite.
They gotta start with some
Focuses on people's faces.
testimonials.
Through them. There is a deep soul in there.
It allows creativity. It allows craftsmanship.
Because as a human, we're all storytellers.
Beyond any imagination. In recognition of the creative community's ever-evolving passions. The new cinema line.
There's a new cinema line? Come on. How was the new
It felt
camera?
very foreign at first, but because it's a new piece of technology, but after the first tutorial, it felt like second nature.
And it was such a great experience and allows us to think in a different way. In the future, I imagine it becoming more of a standard.
Ça ressemblait plus à un stromboscope, comme dans les années disco.
It gives a lot of great flexibility. You can position it in all sorts of different places, and you can
Looks like
adjust
it's
everything remotely, and it makes
an
things a lot
FPV
easier
robot.
and quicker on set.
From what they're showing right here.
This is a whole new style. With 4K full-frame image sensor.
Is the camera attached to it?
Interchangeable lenses for cinematic expression.
It looked like an
With
FX3.
remote pan, tilt, zoom operation. Sparking the artistry and imagination of creators everywhere. Fusion of cinema line's image quality and new technology.
Okay.
Cinematography meets robotics.
Finally, they show the whole thing.
The all-new FR7.
FR7. So for first, I thought it was an FX3 attached to it, but I guess it comes with the robot.
My first impression upon unboxing this camera, I really was impressed with how compact it was and being told of its capabilities. The tilting and the spinning.
I mean, it looks like an FPV
I didn't believe
type of camera.
We wanted to create.
I'm sorry, I've been saying FPV. I meant PTZ. Sorry, not FPV. PTZ. Just realized that. Sorry about that.
Add something more to it. Something a
This
little
looks like a
bit more special.
PTZ camera used for a lot for
So
broadcast.
being able to have a small compact camera that doesn't stick out and was able to fit through the sunroof perfectly was just perfect for that shot.
But okay.
You could change lenses very quickly. I like to see the 50 and the 35. Oh no, back to the 50, sorry. Because it's so quick that I'm able to view and test a few different looks before we start shooting.
Working with this camera is great. You can really use the camera in specific situations and then use the FX6 and the Venice as your main cameras the rest of the time, and everything just
Why
works together
FX6 again?
perfectly.
Like, could be FX9 and the Venice. Like, that's a big
The
jump.
ability to control the zoom and the pan and tilt with one hand in a very smooth motion is a new tool that I've never worked with before.
I wonder how it does with cinema glass.
It's more than just a high-quality camera. And it's more than just a high-performance remote camera. It will change how you shoot and change how you create. Expand the future of visual storytelling. FR7. Now let's take a closer look at it.
Please. Could have skipped all that first part.
World's first remote pan, tilt, zoom camera with interchangeable lenses.
First remote.
FR7 offers new possibilities
I
for
guess.
visual storytelling.
So the unconventional scene we're able to take with the
I see that it has rods, so you could
we had this
put
shot in
big
the film
glass on there, so
where
that's
a
good.
sheet would fall onto the camera lens, which is the POV of the woman in the film, pointing it up at a minus 90-degree angle and programmed it to spin in a 340-degree move. And we were able to do this because we had such a small compact camera, and they gave us the freedom to move it around this small location.
FR7 provides stable camera work at very low speeds that cannot be achieved by human operation.
Program
What?
a pan and tilt that was incredibly slow. It gives a mechanical feel to it where a human hand would not be able to execute. So the ability to control the camera in a precise, slow movement. So this move creates suspense, but also builds curiosity within the audience.
With interviews, there's always a problem of intimacy. When you're trying to get to the soul of the conversation and you're trying to get very authentic responses from your subjects, it's very difficult when there is a lot of crew on set. And having FR7 available allowed us basically eliminate almost everybody from set, and we have the operator in a different room operating all these different cameras.
This guy just said I could just fire
It's really nice
everybody
to be able
and
to
just
control
use
the
this
camera
thing.
remotely, because in very intimate scenes, very emotional scenes, it's nice to give the actor their privacy so they can be vulnerable, be sensitive, and perform without a lot of people in the room, including myself.
The FR7 can record up to 100 pan, tilt, zoom, and focus positions to reproduce the same camera work over and over again.
Setting a preset, I get to set the endpoint exactly how I want it, and it allows me to focus on the timing of the actor reaching the phone booth instead of...
I like it when brands come out with products
And in this
and
specific
pretend like
scene,
the technology
I was
never
always watching
existed.
the shadows that she was creating, and I always wanted her to cross camera first and then execute the move, and the camera would catch up to her, and at the end point, it would stop right when she reached the phone booth.
For one of the scenes, we wanted to set up a VFX shot where we multiplied the crowd. And at the same time, we wanted to have some camera movement as well. So we used the preset system to set up a preset tilt, and then shot the scene multiple times with our actors, multiple positions. And then our post-production team will take that and composite all those shots together to make one big shot.
The FR7 is the only remote camera that allows you to quickly combine the best lenses from a wide range of E-mount lens systems.
I think one of the great things about the FR7 is the fact that you're able to have a wide selection of lenses you can make use of. You can shoot wide open. You can make use of the variable ND built in to really dial in just that right.
It looks like they basically took an FX3 body and
really shallow depth of field,
attached it to a robot and called the whole system a camera.
Une autre chose qui était très simple, c'était de balance the lens. Ça veut dire être sûr que la lentille à chaque position.
Yeah, you got to
ne
balance
bouge
it,
pas.
I guess, like
C'était
a
très simple
regular
de
gimbal.
balance,
Makes sense.
La lentille.
FR7 has a bokeh control effect to control depth of field while maintaining the same exposure. The FR7 comes with a new dedicated web app for smart, intuitive camera control. Not only pan, tilt, zoom, but you can also control iris, ISO, and all other camera parameters.
I mean, if there's no screen on there, how else would you do it?
You're able to control it wirelessly from a tablet. And that means I can walk around the set, I can look at different angles, and I can control everything remotely without having to stand right next to the camera.
The web app is incredibly impressive, especially because you're able to create multiple monitors for every department head. Each having our own tablet, we were able to focus on our individual jobs.
Pour plusieurs plans, Al avait la tablette avec le contrôle. Moi, j'avais la tablette pour m'occuper du focus.
So the web app, the way it's designed and organized and separated, it's all intuitive.
FR7 is also compatible with the physical RMIP 500 remote controller.
Jeez. Sold
This enables
separately.
even more intuitive pan-tilt-zoom operation using the joystick. Fast Hybrid AF, which analyzes the subject's movement in real time.
Guys, this is
27 measuring
a
points.
PTZ
ensures more
camera.
reliable cinematic remote shooting with shallow depth of field.
So I used to be a focus puller. So I used to, pull focus wires.
Oh, you
Stuff
lost your
like that. I was
job then.
used to pulling focus on my own. To have a system do it for you and being pretty precise is pretty amazing and scary.
Sony has been there for
With
a
high-speed,
few years now with their
high-precision
autofocus.
Creators can concentrate on getting their ideal angle, even under conditions where focusing is difficult.
So to be able to
This
slow down
music
time
is just killing
at
me.
high frame rates, it allows allows us to focus on the nuances of the performance.
It's like I'm having dinner at a
The
fancy
FR7
steakhouse.
has a built-in electronic variable ND filter, which is well established in the
That is
FX6
cool.
and
Good
other
thing they at
models.
least added that.
Having a built-in VND on the camera is really great because you're really able to dial in the exposure perfectly while getting the aperture just like you like it.
The FR7 provides a wide dynamic range of 15 plus stops for cinematic expressions.
Knowing that it has 15 plus stops of dynamic range, I'm able to really push the highlights and really push the shadows in certain situations. If this is a good camera, is if it can capture skin tones in a appealing, natural state.
It has the same look characteristics as the Cinema Line series cameras. This allows for consistent tone control, even in multi-camera shoots combined with FX6 and other cameras.
They keep saying FX6. That's got to, I mean, I'm sure it's their most profitable camera.
It's really nice to have one for 800, which
Dual native
I'm most
ISO,
comfortable
of course.
lighting for.
Again, it's
But in certain
it's an
situations
FX6,
when
FX3
you
sensor
need a little bit more light,
inside of
having the base
this
setting
thing
of
here. Same thing.
12,800 is very
I mean,
useful,
I would do the same
especially when
thing if
we're
I
shooting
was
at
them.
night with LED lights in high frame rates.
We're using smaller lights, we're using LEDs, and we're working on smaller crews sometimes. And, you know, having that capability in the sensor is really a good tool.
In addition to these, S-Log3 and S-Gamut3.Cine can be selected to record more color gamuts and tones for more creative grading. It also features S-Cinetone, a look that has an established reputation in the Cinema Line series. Rich neutral colors and natural skin tones are recorded on set. FR7 supports internal recording of XAVC format in the MXF wrapper. XAVCI 422 10-bit Class 300 at DCI 4K is available. This makes for good compatibility with other Cinema Line cameras. FR7 has built-in dual media slots for recording these high-quality images.
Yeah.
Both slots support CF Express Type A, which enables high bitrate 4K video at high frame rate and also supports SDXC cards.
Very nice.
Intended for use
Yeah.
in a wide range
There's
of
like a
professional
PTZ
shooting styles,
control.
the FR7 is
interface.
equipped with a variety of interfaces: HDMI Type A, 12G SDI out, and XLR 5-pin audio in.
Oh, that's nice.
TC in terminal and Genlock terminal are also provided for multi-camera shooting. Everything we do always starts with the creators. It is our mission to provide the tools and spark to drive their passion and creativity ever further. Our ongoing challenge remains to continue innovating products that help move the world of creativity forward.
All right. So there you have it. That is a new Sony Cinema FR7 camera. I guess the whole system is like an entire camera. My thoughts. I do not think that this camera is going to be used in the way that this promo showed it. It seems like there's a lot of setup to be had there, and there's not that much flexibility with regard to, like, people still want to use huge cinema glass. Yes, it has rods. I'd be interested to see how what's the load capacity for those motors. With that being said, it's not that I wasn't impressed. It's that I don't think that they promoted it properly, because everything that they showed here already exists. All the technology that they showed here, the motorized slider movement like that. I have a Rhino myself. I have a Rhino slider with the Arc 2 motion control system, and it works beautifully. It works beautifully. The Sony autofocus, we've already had that. We're talking about movements. Pan and tilt is what really they focused on. Pan, tilt, and zoom, I guess. But I feel like this is something that they could have and should have maybe promoted it to a broadcast, more of a broadcast production, right? So that's where you have regular camera operators standing in behind tripods, just kind of moving the camera. I don't know, that is where I would see this being more useful. I can't see this replacing jobs in the industry because of the size and weight or whatever, and all the movements that it does. It's just it takes so much to set up. It seems like it's cables and connections and running cables and connecting it with the iPad app and all that stuff. I don't know that professional productions like you saw here are going to really be using that. It looks like obviously Sony reached out to these guys. They said, hey, do a production here. We want to do a behind the scenes of that production, use this product, and let us interview at the end of it. Let us give you an interview at the end of it. So it seems like that's what happened here. Not to say, again, I don't want to diminish how it looks like a really cool product. It didn't excite me because I would never use it in the scenarios that they showed here. I do live stream productions. I do broadcast productions, conferences all the time. And, the one thing, I wouldn't, I don't use focus pullers to begin with, but I could see myself maybe getting a few of these and putting them as camera operators, or instead of camera operators, put them as their PTZ. Sorry, earlier in the video, I was saying FPV. They're PTZ cameras, essentially. You just need to get the lenses for them, but even then, like, I kind of prefer camera operators just because they can follow. If this had a really great following feature, which I didn't see that they promoted one, maybe we can talk, maybe we can get super close and zoomed in on our subject on stage and they could follow them on stage by itself. If you show me that works really well, maybe we can talk, but I don't know. I mean, this is kind of my take on this. Yeah, I mean, the connections and the interface in the back showed that this is pretty much a PTZ camera with a Sony, the beautiful cinema line Sony sensor on it, which is gorgeous, by the way. It's just simply a sort of a FX6, FX3 sensor attached to this very similar cinema body that they created and attached it to this robot head. So, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of this product. I would like to see the price on this now. They didn't put the price here, but let's go to cined.com and check the price real quick. Come on, Cined. I wonder what it costs for the entire product. And they did mention that there's a whole control interface that is sold separately. Yeah, Cined has the title of new PTZ full frame camera, but Sony didn't put that. Sony put Cinema Line FR7. Like, there's no PTZ mentioned here, except in the description, actually. For smooth pan, tilt, zoom, PTZ control coupled with a full frame image sensor and high quality E-mount lens lineup. Right. So, I mean, the camera does have external raw video output, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like Cined has a lot more information on their platform. All right, let's see here. Yeah, full frame sensor, 4K, 422 10-bit. Yeah. Yeah, same sort of, memory card system where it's either an SD or either a regular SD card or a CF Express Type A card. You can use all compatible Sony zoom lenses. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I just want to see So the official price of this camera is going to be $9,700. But they do have a pre-bundled kit with that includes the 28 to 135 zoom lens from Sony at $12,200. So there you have it. That's the price. So $10,000 essentially for this system with no lens, and I'm assuming no control interface. So $10,000 for a really nice looking PTZ camera. Might be worth it. Might be worth it. So currently I'm using Canon XF605 broadcast cameras that are manned and everything. But, you know, it might be worth it. And, you know, it depends on the level of productions that you're doing. Again, for live productions, I wouldn't get this for a regular production. I just feel like it's way too much work to set up for another camera movement. I'm going specifically with the way that I work. And yeah, from what I know as well is that, you know, although I have all these the FX3, the FX9 and all that, I mean, if I decide one day I want to use the some nice cinema glass, some Arri Master Primes or whatever, I want to use whatever camera I want to use, you know? So if I need to change the camera, if I need to, you know, like I'm not crazy about the fact that I can only use that camera with it. So anyways, that's kind of my take on that. Love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. See ya.